Okay, this is Hebrews chapter 1, first 3 verses or so. Long ago, God spoke to the fathers by the prophets at different times and in different ways. In these last days, He has spoken to us by His Son. God has appointed Him heir of all things and made the universe through Him. The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact expression of His nature, sustaining all things by His powerful word. After making purification for sins, He sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. So, God has been speaking to people since the beginning. He used prophets, and it says he did this at different times and in different ways. There's a psalm that says that God speaks even in the creation. What is that psalm? 19? That God speaks to us every day. The world is, the sun goes around and it declares the glory of God. So God's speaking to us every day. And in times past, He spoke through prophets. At different times, He would raise them up. In these last days, He has spoken to us by His Son. So God has chosen to make His word spoken more clearly. He's chosen to speak more clearly in a way that is exactly what He would say through His Son. God has appointed Him heir of all things and made the universe through Him. So Jesus inherits everything in the universe, and even if there's things beyond that, there's spiritual things that we don't even see. He is the inheritor of everything. And God made the universe through Him. So Jesus is a co-creator. He is the co-creator. God created the world, and Jesus was part of that. I wasn't, you weren't, none of us were. No other human was. But Jesus, before He became a human, was creating the world with the Father. The Son, Jesus, the Son, is the radiance of God's glory and the exact expression of His nature. So Jesus, when we see His words, when we see His actions, when we get a glimpse of His life through the Gospels, as we read those and understand what Jesus is trying to say, as we do understand it correctly, we are seeing and hearing the voice of God. There's no distinction between what God the Father says and what God the Son says. Jesus is the exact expression of God. Sustaining all things by His powerful word. So Jesus actually is the one sustaining all things. I'm not even sure what that means. The universe, creation, everything. After making purification for sins on the cross, is what that's talking about, He sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. So God the Father stayed in heaven while Jesus came to visit on the earth, came to be with us. And after He was done here, He went back and sat with the Father at the Father's right hand. That's not an insignificant thing. That's a title of nobility, of oneness in nature, and being and kind. So that says a lot about who Jesus is. I think we have a lot going on in this world that we look around and wonder why it is the way it is. We wonder if God knows what he's doing. And I'm just starting this short series of short readings and commentary to just say, hey, let's just focus on Jesus first. Who is he? Why did he? What's he about? And I may try to do this every week. I hope I can, maybe even every couple of days. So I'm going to put this on YouTube, and don't try to believe, don't try to necessarily accept it even. But this is what's written. This is what is there for us. A lot of people went to a lot of trouble to keep this word available to us. A lot of people died for this. A lot of people suffered, and a lot of people thought it was important enough. There were mistakes, yeah. People killed for it too, which they shouldn't have done. But a lot of people laid down their life, laid down not just their physical life, but their plans, their hopes, their dreams of what they would have wanted if they were just living their life for themselves, and devoted themselves to keeping these words available for future generations. So it's important. It's something to consider. It's, I think, the main thing to consider. So maybe just, if you could, approach it with that attitude that, hey, for thousands of years, people thought this was worth paying attention to. So maybe I'll pay attention, just see what's in there.